What's going on? My name is Rogue. I make gym nerd content. This is going to be my first video today, so bear with me. I'm still learning the ins and out of YouTube and just how to set up recording and stuff. Today we're going to be talking about my house rules. You might be thinking, who the f is this guy? Me. I'm Rogue. That's who. So you should care about my house rules. You can use them as inspiration if you'd like. Anyways, let's start at the beginning with character creation. The way that I have players roll stats are 4d6 rolled 7 times. So I know that there are 6 total slots for stats. I kind of do this for a advantage or a safety cushion in case somebody rolls low. I saw online that somebody said that they have their players re-roll 1s and 2s. I just give an entirely new safety cushion. I like my players being a little bit stronger and beefier. That's just my personal opinion. And I also have this personal rule where if it's a completely new player and they have never played D&D before, I let them roll an extra time so they get that sort of safety cushion times 2, you know? I also allow level 1 feats. I'm pretty lenient with this as well. One thing you'll learn pretty quick about these videos is I'm a very lenient, laid-back DM. When it comes to level 1 feats though, the only thing that I ask is that players tie it in with their backstory. Just kind of give a reason of why you have that feat, what makes it so special, all that sort of stuff. Along with that too, I like my players to be immersed in the world. I like my players to have a spot in the world before they even get a chance to play, so it seems like their character is more involved. That being said, I have my players give 4 rumors. One of them has to be true and one of them has to be false. I collect all 4 rumors and I distribute them out. Each player now gets 1 rumor. Say I have 4 players, they each get 1 rumor that they've heard about each player. So moving on to combat. As for crits, I want my players to be strong. I like to be able to throw strong enemies at them and for them to have a fighting chance. Let's say a player's running a greatsword. If they roll a nat 20, they're gonna take max damage. So greatsword damage is 2d6, they're gonna take instant 12 damage and get to re-roll the 2d6 for bonus damage. Now here's a little controversial rule. I also crit class abilities such as Divine Smite, Sneak Attack, you name it, they crit. I know a lot of DMs don't do that because it can get some crazy damage, but I think that's the point of crits. They're supposed to be exciting, they're supposed to rarely happen, but when they do happen, be memorable. I remember one time I ended up taking out a dragon in 2 turns and dealing, I think, over 100 damage because my sneak attack critted and then I critted again after that. It was pretty crazy. I couldn't tell you the exact numbers if I'm being honest, but believe me, it did happen. When it comes to potion, it's pretty straightforward. Spend your action, you drink the max amount of the potion. So if it's 1d4, you drink your potion, you get automatically 4. I also allow bonus action to drink the potion yourself, but if you don't spend your action to drink the full potion, then you're gonna be rolling for the health. You can spend an action to give your potion to somebody else, but they do still have to roll for that total HP. This goes for any potion too. Bonus action to drink yourself, action to give to somebody else. I have the same philosophy on death saves as I do with crits. I want them to be memorable, I want them to be high stakes. Not every player or DM is gonna like what I use with death saves, but that's okay because these are my house rules. You're welcome to use whatever you want. The way death saves work at my table is the saves are rolled privately behind the DM screen between the player that's down and the DM. I do this to create a sort of mystery for the players that aren't downed, so that way there's a level of urgency that the players have to help out the party member that's down. They also never know if you're sitting at 2 failed death saves or not. Baldur's Gate 3 bonus actions. Honestly, Baldur's Gate 3 gave us a refreshed versions of the 5th edition rules and I love it. Shove is a bonus action, dip is a bonus action, flurry, all that stuff, I allow it in my game. So if you just got done binging Baldur's Gate for 4 hours and came straight to my D&D table and you were mixing up the rules, chances are I'm gonna allow it. My final rule for combat is the player that gets the last hit gets to describe what they're doing, what's going on. Helps a ton with immersion. I'm pretty sure this is something that Critical Role popularized. I've never seen Critical Role. I know. But honestly, I really like doing it as a DM because I'm a very descriptive DM. I like to give my players kind of an image in their imagination. Moving on, these are gonna be some of my more fun house rules. These are just kind of like to allow the players to do some crazy stuff, give them a hand, anything like that. So starting off, I have the golden D20 rule. At the beginning of the session, I place down a D20 right next to my DM screen. The first player that grabs that D20 instantly rolls a nat 20. It only works 1 time per session. Players aren't allowed to strategize when to use it. They just have to grab it and whoever grabs it gets it. This can be used any time in the session. I don't care if it's combat, I don't care if it's role playing, I don't care if it's a death save, anytime. I only just started running that rule, and let me tell you, some pretty crazy stuff has happened from it. It also has that level of excitement when somebody grabs it like, oh my gosh, holy. And as a DM, I live for that. This next rule has been pretty popular lately, the I know a guy rule. If you haven't heard of it, essentially the way that it works, throughout the campaign or one shot, each player gets an I know a guy, where essentially they can instantly create an NPC to help them out if they're stuck. For example, let's say that the party members have been struggling with a second grade puzzle. Essentially, one of them can say, oh, I know a guy. He's a puzzle expert. I met him, yada, 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 and give me this whole full-fledged backstory. I do require my players to tell me how they know them, how they met them, why they're friends with them, that sort of stuff, just to kind of immerse it better. And if they do it good enough, that will become a reoccurring NPC. Now, obviously, if they just spit something out that doesn't make sense or is totally unfair, I say no to it. But I have some pretty creative players at my table, so that's not really something I need to worry about. I haven't gotten to try out this house rule yet, but I think I'm gonna start implementing it. It is called Last Stand. Essentially, when a player's down, they can choose to automatically fail all of their death saves in exchange for one more turn in combat. Obviously, they're not allowed to heal or any sort of stuff like that. It's just to give them one last ditch effort to fight, hold off an enemy while the other players escape, that sort of stuff. I imagine this can create some pretty crazy role-playing moments. Just imagine that you throw the BBEG at the players at a low level and they continue to fight rather than running away. A down player can choose to hold off the BBEG or grapple them or something like that while the other players escape, buying them enough time in sacrificing themselves. All right, my most controversial house rule that I have is that every player at my table must take a turn to be a DM at least once. Whether it be running a campaign, running a one-shot, it just gives the players a chance to put themselves in the DM's shoes and experience what DMing is like. 4 out of the 6 people in my D&D group are DMs and have DM'd at least once. There are 2 more people that need to give DMing a shot. We're not rushing them, but we're like kind of teasing them about it, like, hey, when are we gonna get our one-shot? Hey, when are you running a campaign? We're just being fun with it. So there you have it. That was a list of the house rules that I run at my D&D table. I'm not telling you to change your house rules at all. By all means, it's your D&D game. Do whatever you want. Maybe you could take inspiration from my rules. But if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your house rules are in the comments. I would love to add some more. Thank you guys for watching, and welcome to Rogue's Lair.